If you guys have seen my GIE videos from last year, there's a segment where I am actually in this machine. I always find a machine that I like, I put it on my wall. I put this one on my wall, and I'm indifferent, not indifferent on the name, but originally I had a name for a machine from this brand, but I didn't end up getting it. I ended up getting a different one from this brand. This brand is the Orange brand. It's my first Orange brand. They're very nice. They gave me a very nice hat. I like that. It's actually Kong. Yeah, it's Kong. So I think the side-by-side market is about to explode. I've been thinking about this for a while now. I mean, more than a year. And like I think this is an asset. I think this thing is going to be like, you know, an absolute, you know, I think this market's going to be huge because of what can be done on these side-by-sides. I've noticed with some of my larger bids, we walk these properties and stuff, and it'd be kind of nice to like drive around them. It's a luxury, but it's also nice to have it like when you're doing a 5-acre or 10-acre job. It's nice to have a machine or a cart on site. So this guy is the RTV X900. What I like about this machine is that I've got a I have a love affair with the Kubota 21 horsepower diesel because it was the first diesel that I ever purchased, and it was on a grasshopper lawnmower, and it was my first zero-turn grasshopper lawnmower. The thing had over 5,000 hours on it. The radiator kind of didn't really work, and my mechanic was like, just run it and just see what happens. And we ran that thing for 2 years, and then we sold it. Nothing ever happened. So. Not saying to do that, but it made me a believer in Kubota. Why I think the side-by-side market is interesting is because you can hook up, like, when this machine originally came out, it's a mobile service unit, exactly. And yes, there is a generator in the bed. There's actually a few things that are going to be going in the bed, but the generator will 100% be... Do you guys, just so you guys know, do you guys have road signs? I hope you guys have road signs. These are like $4. You get the stands for another $1 in my town. And you just put whatever service you're doing, bro. And if it's land clearing, you put land clearing on it. If it's trees, you put trees. If it's aeration, if it's lawns, it's whatever. And it's not your company name because nobody cares. It's just literally your service. Woo! What's that, baby? Is that 2,000 watts of reliable Honda power? I think so. Does it have a twin? Absolutely, it has a twin. It's a lot, kind of light, but I'm kind of weak. So, this is what I'm envisioning. This is what I'm envisioning for the future of lawn and landscape. I'm envisioning some sort of power unit. I don't necessarily think that has to be a generator, because I think that that's another engine, another fuel type. Keep in mind this is a diesel, that's gas, that's an issue with me. But I think that extra alternators can be put on this engine. I think that you can power attachments on a nice little electrical plug. I think that electric attachments... Where did my beer go? I think that electric attachments, being trimmers, chainsaws, whatever, I think they're more badass than gas attachments, especially if you're not worried about the power cord process. I think a reel could be put on here. Because we all know the batteries are still an issue. They're an issue for Tesla. They're going to be an issue for lawn guys for a long time. It's not until they're not an issue for Tesla that they will ever be 5 years close to being not an issue for lawn and landscape guys. So we're a solid 10 years away from having good battery stuff. But I think a unit like this is one, phenomenal for forestry, like me, like I'm doing forestry stuff. It's phenomenal for doing flyers in forestry areas because remember we're doing 5-acre, 10-acre properties, so they're not like easy to walk flyers. And I'm a big believer in flyers. It does not have a hydraulic dump because I'm not paying $2,400 for the hydraulic dump. I'm not doing that because I got a dump trailer and I don't need the dump on this thing. It is base model because that's how Trav rolls. Okay, because Trav rolls XL. That one's XLT. I'm pissed about that because the carpet. I hate carpet. Carpet's crap. I roll XLs. That's what I do because bells and whistles break. So the side-by-sides, when this thing came out originally, had a way to hook in hydraulic attachments, which basically means like the little things that you see on a Bobcat, like when a Bobcat runs something. it could do that. However, the attachments were so pricey because no one was buying them that, long story short, version 1 had it. This is version 3. They haven't really changed much because it's Kubota. However, I think that it could come back. And I bought this machine to R&D it. In the back of this machine, I mean, obviously we could extend the bed, we could do all sorts of things. You could just roll a secondary engine that powers nothing but a hydraulic pump. And then off of that hydraulic pump, you could run anything you want. You could run a bush hog up front. You could run a massive one. You want to run an 80-inch bush hog, a 190-inch bush hog, a 30-inch bush hog. You do whatever the hell you want. You want to do a finish mower on the back, you could do that. You want to do a sprayer, you could do that. If you want to make this bed a switch and go, so the guys at Switch and Go, they're in Fort Myers, they're good dudes. If you want to make this thing a switch and go, you want to turn this thing into flashers. If you guys don't have a license and you're looking for a way to drive in most states, you put an ag tag on that thing with a big triangle and the ag lights on it, and you're running an ag tractor because this qualifies as a tractor. So there's some gray areas in the laws there, and whenever there's gray areas in the laws, I'm a fan of it. Exactly, Lucky. That's why you need to keep your side-by-side and work through her problems. So the financials of this guy. I bought this thing for $12,500. I had to add the winch. I bought the winch. Added the winch, makes it like 13. It's a diesel. Other people in the market for this type of setup are a little bit faster. So you can get like a Ranger with a gas engine. It's going to be a little bit faster. You can get it in the $10,000 range. So it's up there. You know, it's like $2,000, $3,000 additional for a slower machine. However, what I loved about this thing is it has a hydrostatic transmission. So it literally shares the transmission with a smaller Kubota tractor. Because it shares the same transmission as a tractor, it's ready for that turbo. You can add a turbo to this bad bear. Obviously, that's like my birthday present. It's $2,400 to do it. Don't want to do it while it's in warranty, but I probably will, you know, I'll probably do it anyway. So the hydrostatic tranny is why I bought this thing, because it's really fail-proof to drive. I think that this is a little bit higher than the average zero turn, but I think it could replace the zero turn. And sure, it's not going to do the smaller properties and things like that, but it's going to be baller for the 1 acre properties all the way up to the 5 acre properties. And I think that that's, you know, especially in my area, I think that that's where you want to be as a maintenance company. I would think you want to be on those larger things, commercial accounts, things like that. But nonetheless, I believe that there's a lot of future market growth in the side-by-side market. But I think that it's going places. And I bought this thing because I want to be one of the first guys experimenting with it, because as you guys know, I'm totally willing to experiment with things.